A man fraudulently billed Ambridge Borough for hours worth $50,000 while he was off on disability. Man's attorney says every hour that he took was accounted for.
This building in Braddock was once the center of the borough's booming business district, and the community is hoping this is a sign of things to come. There are some good memories there for former Braddock Mayor John Fetterman. Channel 11's Serafina James spoke with the Lieutenant Governor about what's next.
Back in Braddock's heyday, the O-Ringer was the centerpiece for a once thriving business district. Now those behind this project hope this sign serves as a sign for Braddock's resurgence. The O-Ringer building was the largest of 8 furniture stores in Braddock when it opened in 1941. It's now finding new life and being transformed into 37 affordable artist residencies. And the 70-foot cherry on top is a replica of the original O-Ringer sign, which is being installed throughout the week. Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, the former mayor of Braddock, tells me nearly 2 decades ago, he had an office in the O-Ringer building. In 2009, his then nonprofit, Braddock Redux, purchased the building for $10,000. Fetterman says the project demonstrates the community-driven transformation underway all across Braddock.
My nonprofit purchased it at auction, and I was the only bidder. And the minimum was $10,000, and that's what we paid for it. And it was always the hope and dream to have exactly like this be it, so it could support the community, and it would support housing and the arts and entrepreneurs of color, and that's exactly what this project's doing.
The O-Ringer apartments will range from $630 to $750. This evening, I'll take you inside one of the apartments, plus I'll tell you what other projects are planned for Braddock. Reporting in Braddock, Serafina James, Channel 11 News.
Warmer weather out there today. Windy, though.
That sure is. Meteorologist Danielle Dozier now in Severe Weather Center 11 with more on the forecast. Danielle?
Hi, guys. Yeah, it's certainly windy out there. A live look over the city, but more importantly, checking out those trees and how they are blowing in the wind. 67 degrees with a sustained wind at 17. We've got a gust to 26 right now in Pittsburgh, 30 in Indiana, and 25 in Washington. Temperature-wise, though, we have winds out of the southwest that are strong, which allows the temperatures to heat up rather quickly. So we've got 67 in Pittsburgh already. It's 70 in Beaver, 64 in Greensburg, and a warm 69 degrees in Washington. I know that we're going to be raking some of those leaves probably after this wind event. If you're doing that this afternoon, the temperatures will climb to about 73 degrees, and we'll have some sun and some clouds out there today, but no rainfall. I am tracking a dip in the temperatures behind a cold front moving through today. I'll let you know what to expect when you head out the door Thursday morning. Coming up.
Facebook has been accused of not doing enough to stop disinformation. Well, now it is taking a big step. The company will ban all QAnon accounts. QAnon is a conspiracy theory that grew out of the fringes of the internet, spreading disinformation about various topics related to the government and child sex trafficking. The pandemic has taken a toll on the already strained IRS, leaving many taxpayers still waiting for tax returns and stimulus checks from the first round. Channel 11's Samantha Manning joins us from our Washington News Bureau, where lawmakers on Capitol Hill are looking into the backlog.
Lawmakers say a big part of the problem stems from cuts to IRS staff and underfunding for tech systems. So they say the agency is using outdated technology and doesn't have the manpower to keep up with taxpayers' needs. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill say the coronavirus pandemic led the IRS to close down call centers and taxpayer assistance centers. Still, the IRS commissioner says IRS employees have worked round the clock since mid-March, once the pandemic hit and the CARES Act was passed. But by July, the agency was dealing with a backlog of millions of tax returns and stimulus checks, with many people still waiting for their money.
People can't afford to just wait. They need this financial assistance now.
It is inexcusable for us to be facing some of the issues that we're facing.
The IRS commissioner says the closures of help centers were meant to keep employees safe during the pandemic. I'm Samantha Manning, reporting from our Washington News Bureau.
It's very scary to not feel safe in your own home.
Cars broken into, some of them stolen, the neighborhoods being targeted in connection to a potential crime ring.
Lockdowns and travel restrictions forced all of us to look for getaways that are closer to home, the impact that's having on local businesses.
And murals are going up all over town, the message organizers want you to take away.
umbrella? Should you grab a coat? What about those weekend plans? Watch Chief Meteorologist Stephen Cropper.
Headed out tomorrow, the temperature will be warming up.
Scott Harbaugh, Danielle Dozier, and Jessica Faith. Count on Severe Weather Team 11.
Channel 11 News and NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
We're a team you can count on to cover stories that impact your life,
Whether it's across the street or around the world.
Channel 11 News at 6.
and NBC Nightly News at 6:30.
Watch The Kelly Clarkson Show weekdays at 1 p.m. right here on Channel 11.
6 months after the O shutdown in Oakland, a new restaurant group is moving in. According to the Pittsburgh Business Times, Marrow Restaurant Group leased the space. The company already runs Stacked Burger and Beer and Chicken a block away. Developers say the plan is to divide the O space into 2 restaurants, and renovations are already underway. Have you seen these up around town? We showed you that a Steeler helped out on Monday with that, where they are part of the Pittsburgh Solidarity for Change Community Mural Project. 4 of the 10 murals are done. Others will be painted through the month, and you're invited to help. The goal is to promote messages such as be kind, trust, and equality.
During this historic year, more people took to the outdoors and looked for getaways closer to home. It's led to an increase in tourism at state parks and a boost in nearby businesses. State parks are seeing more visitors than ever before. Campgrounds are packed every weekend, and an open spot is hard to come by.
We are actually at the present time across the state seeing almost double the rate of reservations.
That increase is helping local communities and their economies.
Ohiopyle has definitely changed. When I came to town 20 years ago, it was definitely just Memorial Day to Labor Day, and that was it.
But sleeping outside is not for everyone.
I would camp, yes.
No. Some prefer a peaceful cabin like this. Creek Haven, a 3-bedroom cabin overlooking a small waterfall about 20 minutes away from Ohiopyle, is a popular spot for those looking to get away in the Laurel Highlands.
So we're about 3 weeks out, fully booked 3 weeks out.
Jessica Cruz, an Airbnb host of multiple properties, says this location is a favorite. Airbnb reports hosts across the state earned nearly $10.5 million in June, with many of their guests from within 300 miles.
They can just bring their families and be here and be in this little space all by themselves and not have to worry about coming in contact with others.
Airbnb has changed everything for us as a business, because now people come up here year-round.
Pamela Cruz, a local business owner, says while visitors using home rental services isn't new, it's really changed tourism in the Laurel Highlands. While it's too early to calculate the tourism economic impact for 2019 and 2020, the State Department of Community and Economic Development reports in 2018, travelers set a new record high, spending more than $1.85 billion in the Laurel Highlands. A spokesperson from the Laurel Highlands Visitors Bureau says while we were down 37% overall for the year, we are holding steady and as a region doing better than some forecasts had predicted.
They can go skiing, they can go out to the wineries, they can go to the Yacht Lake or Deep Creek or Nemacolin. They have all these places to go to. So they just didn't have the options for lodging to stay here 20 years ago.
And those popular accommodation options are helping people living in the area, providing more ways to make money.
I know a few people that they have full-time jobs, but they're renting a house out as well, and they're making a good income on it. It's a nice side income.
The state's natural beauty, an asset to some local businesses.
And we're so lucky that Pennsylvania is just, I mean, we just have a wealth of natural resources, and we're glad to see people get out and enjoy them.
Some state parks are so overcrowded, visitors are being turned away. You can reserve a camping spot on the State Department of Conservation and Natural Resources website.
2 former detention officers are facing charges after investigators say they played a popular kids song on repeat as a form of punishment. According to investigators, Baby Shark was played late at night at an Oklahoma City prison. The report says the guards claimed other disciplinary action wasn't working. One attorney compared the tactics to torture at Guantanamo Bay.
That is done with one purpose, and that is to harass, to annoy, to torture, to inflict emotional anguish.
The guards are facing a list of charges, including cruelty to prisoners and corporal punishment. Wow, that is what some are dealing with in southern France. Raging floodwaters caused this bridge to collapse onto a power line that exploded. The storm, called Alex, heavily damaged villages on the Mediterranean coast. One mayor says it was the worst flooding disaster in that region in more than 100 years. More than 3 months of rain fell in just 24 hours.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
Visible satellite right now showing some clouds moving in along the I-80 corridor. Places like Newcastle, Butler, Kittanning, you're seeing a mix of sun and clouds right now, maybe even more clouds than sun up there. It looks like it's pretty thick, and this is going to continue to push down to the south. So do have some clouds mixed in with sun from time to time in the Pittsburgh area today. Full-on sunshine down to the south around Uniontown, Waynesburg, looking good. Winds are another story today. 10 to 20 mile per hour sustained winds are expected. We're continuing to see those right now. 17 in Pittsburgh, 18 in Indiana, and 13 in Washington. That's a wind there. Wind gusts here are even higher. So we've got a 25 mile per hour wind in Butler, 32 right now in Indiana. So it is certainly a gusty day for us, and hopefully you've already secured your loose items outside if you haven't already. Here's my hour-by-hour wind forecast showing you here this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Winds are still sustained up around 15 to 20 miles per hour, and I do expect those winds to stay strong throughout the day, where we could have occasional gusts to 35 miles per hour. Once we get closer to sunset, those winds begin to lighten up, and by 8 o'clock, the winds rate around 5 to 10 miles per hour, a little bit higher there in the ridges. Overnight tonight, those light winds will prevail. Northwest winds right around 3 to 8 miles per hour. We're going to be mostly clear here tonight, and we're looking at a temperature down to 46. So it's going to be chilly overnight tonight, but not as cold as what we've had over some of the mornings so far this year. This morning actually was the exception. We had 50s out there, so it will be a little bit chilly tomorrow morning. 43 in Butler, 43 in Washington, 45 in Uniontown. And so as you're heading out, just make sure you have on that jacket because you're going to need it. Something else taking place tonight, which is really cool, and we should have a great sky for it, is the Draconid meteor shower. And the peak is actually tonight right around nightfall. So usually we say go out after midnight or into tomorrow morning. Tonight the case is right around nightfall. You're going to want to step out and try to take a look. And everything that I've read says about a handful per hour. So it's not the greatest meteor shower, but if you are an enthusiast, you can go outside, take a look. Sunset is at 6:52. Tomorrow we're looking at sunshine back in the forecast. 8 o'clock temperature will be right around 47 degrees. By noon we're at 58, and 5 o'clock temperature will be 62 degrees. So a little bit cooler behind the front for tomorrow than what we're going to have out there today. Here's a look at our latest fall foliage map. This ends today, so we're going to get another update tomorrow from the DCNR. But we are seeing that approaching best color here around our area. The exception Indiana County looks like they're already in best color. But just a great evening if you wanted to go for a drive and take a look at the colors. I know driving into work with the sun in full force, it just makes them pop even more. So it's perfect weather to do a little leaf peeping. 5-day forecast, your weekend always in view. Warm on Friday at 72 after a chilly start at 42. Your weekend is always in view. 75 Saturday, partly sunny, and we're bringing in a chance for some spotty showers on Sunday as we're tracking the remnants of Hurricane Delta. So right now, Hurricane Delta is emerging into the Gulf of Mexico. I'll have more on that storm coming up, but it does look to bring us some local impacts as we get this new data in, showing us late in the weekend and into next week. So I'll be back with more updates coming up in the next half hour.
A woman caught on camera attacking workers at McDonald's, what police say she was so angry about.
And it's not your typical drug take-back event. The local community collecting vape pens and e-cigarettes. On Channel 11 Morning News, we bring you what's new, what's happening now, and what's next.
That means our newsroom is always searching for new details and new stories. It also means breaking. If it's happening now, I'm on it, bringing you live updates from the breaking news desk.
Our crews know the mission too.
Brand new confirmed information. I'm going to bring that to you live.
Preparing you for what happens next. How will news stories, weather, and traffic affect your day?
What's new, what's now, and what's next every morning on Channel 11 Morning News.
Watch Channel 11 News at 6.
Followed by NBC Nightly News at 6:30.
For the first time, Cranberry Township will accept vape pens and e-cigarettes at their drug take-back event. It is on Saturday, October 24th. You can also safely get rid of expired medicine. Vaping sales jumped nearly 300% in the last 3 years, but it has become a problem among teens. Some studies say it can cause severe respiratory problems. Several local school districts, including Pittsburgh Public, are suing one of the largest manufacturers, Juul. They claim the company has been targeting young people.
The chocolate-covered ice cream bars known as Eskimo Pies have a new name. Edie's Pies is in honor of one of the company's founders. The name change comes after the company acknowledged its original name may be offensive. This year, several companies changed their names and logos, citing racial insensitivity, including Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben's Rice, and Cream of Wheat.
Restaurant rage in Indianapolis. This security video shows a woman going into a McDonald's and attacking workers. The woman picked up a sign in the store and threw it over the counter, leaving the plexiglass barrier dangling. Police say she was angry because her drive-through order was wrong. One worker was hurt. This happened back in August, but they just released the video because police are still trying to find that woman.
Must have been really wrong. A crime ring may be targeting parts of Allegheny County.
What's it feel like to have this done?
Oh, it's very scary.
The neighborhoods where cars are disappearing right from driveways.
Plus, one of the latest victims of the pandemic didn't even have coronavirus. How a former Pittsburgh man was killed in a fight over face masks.
You're watching WPXI Now, your source for original local shows. All the best things happening in Pittsburgh in one place. Watch 11 Things to Do, Thursday and Friday mornings at 9:15 on WPXI Now and on demand.
News is happening near you. Channel 11 is there.
We're in Bethel Park, South Park, and Mount Lebanon. We cover news everywhere you live.
That's what makes Channel 11 News different.
Downtown, Mount Oliver, East Liberty. For news from where you live,
watch Channel 11 News at 5.
Watch Catherine Amenta and Gordon Lesh on Channel 11 Morning News.
This may be a first in the country incident.
Investigators say a fight over a face mask led to the death of a Pittsburgh man at a bar in western New York. The suspect, Donald Lewinsky, pleaded not guilty. He was released from jail and told to stay away from the victim's wife. It happened at a bar on September 26th. According to police, 80-year-old Rocco Sapienza confronted 65-year-old Lewinsky at the bar for not wearing a mask. The DA says it was caught on surveillance camera.
The defendant allegedly stood up from the bar stool and pushed him with two hands, and he pushed him pretty hard.
Sapienza suffered a seizure and lost consciousness. The 80-year-old would never wake up. He passed away 4 days later. Lewinsky has now been charged with criminally negligent homicide.
It's very scary. I mean, I honestly couldn't even sleep last night because it's just unnerving.
Surveillance video shows the moment thieves ditched a stolen car in the South Hills, and it's not the only one that was stolen. Over the past month, dozens of cars have either been stolen or broken into in these communities. 11 Investigates' Angie Moreski has learned police are investigating a possible connection that could be a car theft ring.
The latest rash of car thefts happened here on Brookfield Road in Scott Township. It's a beautiful, quiet, tree-lined street with little crime, but the peace here was broken in the early morning hours on Monday when this Mercedes was stolen along with 2 other cars and several more were broken into. Police found the stolen Mercedes badly damaged, ditched on the north side. The owner asked us to hide his identity because the thieves still have his keys. Pretty bold, pretty brazen.
That's what the police officer said, bold and brazen. And then I found out later there were about 15 homes in the neighborhood that they went through the cars and took out all the belongings.
They were trying to back out through the yard there.
Bill Swart is the neighbor who called police after hearing a commotion outside.
It was very, very low, like kind of just chatter and everything. There wasn't like screaming or anything like that. And then once the car kind of was backing out and scraped against that wall, everybody kind of started. There was like a little bit of a panic.
He said, let's go.
A neighbor's doorbell camera captured the thieves in action. You couldn't see faces, but you could hear voices as the thieves abandoned a stolen Honda in a neighbor's driveway.
He says, let's go, and then he gets over and runs into that car.
The one thing most of the cars had in common, the doors left unlocked, some with even the keys left inside. This neighbor's car luckily not stolen, but it was ransacked and some money taken.
Oh, it's very scary. You're just very shaken up. You're scared. I'm a senior citizen.
Most alarming is how coordinated the efforts seem to be.
There's a lot of vehicles involved, and then like as I was on the phone with the cops, another car came by, and then like things were kind of happening as I was talking to them.
Police are now investigating a possible car theft ring. Similar thefts reported in multiple areas over the last month, including in Beachview, Scott, Mount Lebanon, Upper St. Clair, Kennedy Township, and just last week, Bethel Park.
On the 29th of September in Bethel Park, we had 12 unlocked vehicles entered and ransacked, but we also had 2 vehicles stolen. One of those was recovered shortly after in Mount Lebanon. However, the other one, we believe, was used in a serious crime. It's under investigation in the city.
The chief wouldn't give details, but says detectives in multiple communities are now working together to stop what could be this car theft ring.
We would really like to put a halt to it, especially if they're going to take the vehicles and use them in crimes and other crimes, serious crimes. And our ultimate goal is we don't want to see anyone hurt.
The takeaway of the day, don't be an easy target. Always lock your car, even when it's in your driveway. Angie Moreski, Channel 11 News.
The Penn Hill School District is getting more than $500,000 to help pay for security. It's part of a grant by the State Department of Community and Economic Development. A share of the money will pay for security guards at the high school and elementary schools and youth engagement specialists at the middle school. We are hearing from the Lieutenant Governor on recreational marijuana. With neighboring New Jersey set to legalize the drug, he doesn't want Pennsylvania to be left behind.
It's revenue, it's justice, it's freedom, it's farmers, it's veterans that need it for PTSD, it's, all kinds of things. Jobs, tens of thousands of jobs that we need in Pennsylvania with no subsidizing or anything.
Governor Tom Wolf announced his support earlier this year and asked lawmakers to send him a bill to legalize recreational marijuana.
Leaders in Beaver County are taking steps to safeguard your vote. Yesterday, our partners with the NBC News County to County initiative were there following an elections meeting. Leaders decided to double the number of sheriff's deputies at the polls on Election Day. Those deputies will deliver a list of people who received mail-in ballots to each polling place to make sure no one votes twice. It's something the deputies have always done, but this year it's more important, they say.
But generally, it's had a few thousand names on it with the absentee ballot. But with the new law in place for the first time now, and the fact that we mailed out over 27,000 ballots, it's a lot more complicated, a lot more involved.
Commissioner Manning says the list of who has returned mail-in ballots will be printed the night before Election Day, and those lists will be delivered to all 129 polling places. Early voting is underway in parts of the country. Look at these long lines in Indianapolis yesterday for the first day. A court rejected a request for no excuse absentee voting by mail in Indiana, so they can't do mail-in voting like we can in Pennsylvania. NBC's Dan Cheneman takes a look at early voting across the country.
In Ohio, a crucial swing state, voters waited in long lines.
I prefer to get it in.
So I feel like going in person, you know you're going to get your vote.
In South Bend, Indiana, the polls were ready for the pandemic.
We have hand sanitizers. The people have been trained by the health department here locally.
Over half the states have some form of early voting or in-person absentee voting, like in South Carolina.
I was out of state. I drove back into my state to make sure that my vote was counted.
Early voting starts next week in Texas, but a politically charged battle over drop boxes for mail-in ballots has started. The state's governor limited the number of drop boxes per county to 1. Arguing it would enhance ballot security. The governor's order is now being challenged in court. In Harris County, home to more than 4 million people, a dozen drop boxes were once available. Now there is just 1.
Since the governor's proclamation, we've seen more than a 5x increase in traffic here at NRG Arena. And so we're going to have to increase capacity.
The U.S. Elections Project says more than 4 million ballots have already been cast in this 2020 election. Dan Cheneman, NBC News.
The Allegheny County's Elections Office will be open to drop-off locations starting this Saturday and every weekend leading up to the elections. Election officials will be on hand to answer any questions. We have an election section on our website, and you can find if you're registered, find your polling location, and check out COVID-19 safety protocols if you plan to vote in person. That's up now at WPXI.com and on the WPXI News app.
People can social distance themselves on their own.
The unique idea one haunted house came up with to keep people safe from COVID.
Hey! Attention, all personnel. We got to nip it! Golly! Greenacres, we are there! I know nothing! Nothing!
You can find MeTV on Comcast 190, 207, or 1169.
When you want news from where you live,
watch Channel 11 News at 5.
AMC has no plans to close their theaters in Western PA. They made the announcement in response to competitor Regal Cinemas closing its theaters until some big budget movies are released. The release of several highly anticipated movies have been delayed until next year. But AMC says there are still many new titles scheduled to hit theaters over the next 2 months. The company has 8 locations in the Pittsburgh region, including theaters at the Waterfront, Greensburg, Bethel Park, and Uniontown.
A community in Armstrong County has canceled its Halloween parade and trick-or-treating. According to the Trib, Freeport borough officials want to follow CDC and state health guidelines. Their parade was set for October 24th.
Business has to go on in some form, whether it's much smaller than what you're used to, but business has to go on.
A popular attraction in Texas is still happening despite the pandemic, and here is how they are opening up a haunted house. One guest per group will wear a red glow-in-the-dark necklace when walking through so they can spot other groups.
That's so the people can social distance themselves on their own. Not to mention we have our security force and also other stage managers.
And guests will also wait in their cars until it is their turn to go in, and they will fill out a COVID questionnaire before going in.
Businesses have been hit hard by coronavirus. How what is happening now could actually help new business owners after the pandemic.
A warm and a windy day today, but we're cooling things off into your Thursday. We'll take a look at that forecast together, and I'll have the latest on Hurricane Delta when we come back.
You're streaming WPXI now, your source for breaking news, weather, and original local shows. Murder, mystery, and the missing. Justice Rules profiles real-life crime stories. Tuesdays at 9 p.m. right here on WPXI Now.
Nobody can read between the lines.
She's an 18-year-old girl. She got a settlement. You saw a little money. You wanted a big red truck.
Like Judge Judy.
Shiny, shiny, shiny red truck.
Judge Judy, weekdays at 4 and 4:30 on Channel 11.
What's new?
What's now and what's next every morning
on Channel 11 Morning News.
DoorDash is teaming up with Macy's in its first partnership to make deliveries for a department store. The company is going to be offering same-day and even next-day delivery from 500 Macy's and Bloomingdale's stores across the nation. There is no doubt businesses have taken a big hit during the pandemic, and now a new report is showing just how many have closed. And our consumer advisor Clark Howard has more on what this could mean for a new wave of entrepreneurs.
A new economic estimate from Yelp finds that roughly 60% of the businesses that have closed due to coronavirus are sadly never going to reopen. At the same time, the businesses that have survived through coronavirus are reporting better and better financial situations. Their sales are recovering, and the business owners are becoming more optimistic about the future. It's tragic about the businesses that have closed that won't reopen, but it sets for the next wave of entrepreneurs that'll be coming as soon as we conquer coronavirus and people feel like getting out and about again. Entrepreneurs are going to find a lot more retail spaces available, restaurant spaces, any kind of thing you need to rent or have for a business is going to be available, and it's going to be cheaper than it's been, making it easier for you, if you are a would-be entrepreneur, once the dust clears, to get out there and start your business. I'm Clark Howard.
Target is teaming up with a local branch of the NAACP to make sure students have all the supplies they need for school. Crews unloaded boxes and boxes of school supplies that will be handed out to students in the Woodland Hills, McKeesport, Penn Hills, and Wilkinsburg school districts. In addition to the classroom supplies, students are also getting masks and hand sanitizer.
We support public education and we support our teachers. And what better way to do that than to form partnerships with corporations and bring the supplies and things that we believe could be used to our respective school districts.
Groups are also working to get holiday supplies to distribute to students in the coming months.
A new sign greets neighbors and visitors to Bloomfield. Take a look. The sign sits on Liberty Avenue at the end of the Bloomfield Bridge, welcoming people to Pittsburgh's Little Italy. The previous sign had been damaged in a car accident earlier this year. Public Works crews did the repairs.
Your severe winter Team 11 forecast.
Welcome back. Taking a look outside once again. The trees, yeah, they're still shaking. It's 67 degrees right now. That west wind still blowing at 17 miles per hour. An update to the gusts in Indiana, 30. In Greensburg, 30. We've got a 25-mile-per-hour wind gust up in Butler. If you've been outside today, you certainly have been blown all over the place. The leaves are falling off the trees as well. The good news is it's not a cold wind. The temperatures are up into the upper 60s. We're climbing into the lower 70s this afternoon. Right now in Greensburg, it's 68. Washington, 69. Down there in Waynesburg, you're also in the upper 60s. Beaver checking in right now at 69 degrees. If you're out and about here today, you want to do a little biking, exercising, the weather will cooperate, albeit a little windy at times. 73 degrees at 3 o'clock. We're going to have a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day today, and same thing as we head into this evening. That sun will set, and we're looking for a mostly clear sky overnight tonight. Here's a look at your low temperatures. 45 in Uniontown, about 46 in Pittsburgh, Washington, Greensburg, a little chilly at 43, so you're going to need at least a light jacket before you head out the door tomorrow morning. As far as tomorrow afternoon goes, the weather, once again, fantastic. Plenty of sunshine. Your morning, midday, afternoon, and evening hours will be dry. So any outdoor plans you might have, those are looking good. Tomorrow's high temperature will be a little bit cooler. We're looking at highs only right around 63 degrees. And once we get into tomorrow afternoon, the winds may pick up just a little bit. We're looking at a breeze out of the northwest at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Here's the latest on Hurricane Delta. This is a look at our tropical satellite, which gives us the view of the storm from outer space. And I've circled it here in red. Watch me loop the storm satellite here, and you can see that storm is emerging right off of the Yucatan Peninsula right now. Our model tracks, pretty consistent. These are all model data tracks, and you can see how they're really close together, which means that there is consistency there. And right now it looks like a central, west central landfall there along the Louisiana coastline. So that's something that we will be tracking very closely as we head into the next couple of days. I've been analyzing some model data, and this looks about right. May shift a little bit to the west or just to the east, but right in here in Louisiana, that coastline looks to be hit by Delta as we head later on in the week, specifically Friday afternoon. The sea surface temperatures are very warm, about 78 to 80 degrees. That's what we typically look for strengthening of a storm. And watch, this is the latest hurricane track from the National Hurricane Center. This storm will continue to track toward the northwest. It does strengthen in the Gulf of Mexico once again to a major hurricane. The reason is because the water is very warm. It does look like it may weaken just a little bit as it makes landfall, but I think for the most part we are looking at a near severe Cat 3 storm as we head into Friday itself. And then look at that, the remnants, they start pushing up closer to our area. So our latest data is showing that we could actually get a little bit of rain from this. It would be latter half of the weekend and into Monday of next week. But until then, we enjoy beautiful weather, just a little bit of an up and down in the temperature, 70s to round out the week.
We are finding out which southwestern Pennsylvania communities are the wealthiest. Harrison City in Westmoreland County ranked third with a median household income of $118,000. Benicia in Washington County is second on the list with a median income of $132,000. And number one is Presto. It's over by the Nevillewood Country Club with a median income of $174,000. To find out where your neighborhood lands, you can check out our partners at the Pittsburgh Business Times.
Now here's local steals and deals.
I have the perfect gift for anyone, including you. This is Maya J Jewelry, and it's a beautiful line of jewelry that allows you to customize or create a beautiful, beautiful gift of jewelry for anyone you like, including yourself. And there's so many different options on this, right? So when I show you all this, just realize that all of these are concepts that you can customize and personalize for whatever you want. So you have these beautiful initials. It's a set of 3. It makes the script design, different sizes. We love that. Here you have different fonts of any name or any word that you want with different chains. I love this little with a little side initial. It's perfect for layering. Here's another way you can have the letters just draping from the chain. It can be your name. It can be any word that is important. It can be beautiful. It can be grace. It can be strength. It can be the initials of your children. It could be your mom's name because you miss her. It could be any word or any name or any initials that you want it to be, and you get to create it for yourself or for someone that you love. Some of these are so affordable too. It's what I love. These are amazingly affordable, covered in 14 karat gold, or more of an investment in 14 karat gold. I love the concept. I love the idea. And I love the fact that these are all 20 to 40% off on localsteals.com. If you want to really make someone's day and create something they're going to love, make something that is unique and personal and special just for them.
A big surprise on national television for a local school district in need. Students and teachers were presented with 2,500 laptops and free internet for a year.
It's a big opportunity. I mean, I really appreciate it.
Giving every student equal access to education makes us proud to be from Pittsburgh.
Proud to be from Pittsburgh. Brought to you by your local Honda dealers. Great cars, great people. For a great deal on a Honda, visit shophonda.com.
nobody can read between the lines like Judge Judy.
The crumbling parking lot at the Pittsburgh Zoo and PPG Aquarium is getting a makeover. Our partners at the Trib are reporting the renovation will be paid for the $450,000 Allegheny County Gaming Grant. It will be the first extensive repair to the lot in 40 years. Work at the zoo is scheduled for 2022.
A house flipper in Chicago could have cashed in even before selling the house. As he was starting to renovate, he found thousands of dollars. $10,000 was placed in 5 envelopes and hidden all over the living room.
Behind the couch, there were 2 bankers' withdrawal envelopes. So I think she felt that her safest place for her money was kind of hidden around the house.
Well, when he shook the shock off, he says his next steps were obvious. He returned the money to its former owner, and then instead of taking the reward, he asked the woman who lived there more than 50 years of her life in that house to pay it forward.
Yeah, it's great.
I know. That's all for Channel 11 News at noon. Our next newscast is tonight at 5.
You can get breaking news updates anytime at our streaming apps. Just search WPXI on Apple TV, Roku, or Amazon Fire. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
News is happening in your neighborhood.